Hello friends, here you go, one another video. Today's video is going to be on Power BI DAX function called Percentile. We're going to look into that, a unique case of how a user want to use Percentile. Okay, let me actually show the problem statement which a user put it on the community forum and how I broke it down. Let's take a look at the community forum post. All right, so here it is. It's actually a long time ago, I guess. I don't know why I have it with me. It's a quartiles and average per quartile. Okay, so that's a question. So what the user wanted to do is employees has a conversion rate, and he wants to group these conversion into 4 different quartiles, right? And the first, I think depending on number of employees, there will be like 4 different parts, like 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. So top 25% and the next 25% and then next 25% and the last 25%, right? So that's what it is. So based on the conversion rate, so here it is given like, okay, these are the 4 employees, their top 4 conversion rate, so they are ranked as 1, actually 5 of those. And then these next 5 are ranked as 2, and then 3, and then 4. And once we find out which employees are in that quartile based on the conversion rate measure, and then he wanted to see the average of that particular quartile percentage. So in this particular case, for quartile 1, which is the top 5 based on the conversion rate, he wants to do a average of these 5, right? And then for the second, the average is going to be for these 5, and so forth, so on. So that's the problem statement. So let's try to work through this and break it down how we're going to do it and use the percentile measure in this particular, we are going to use the percentile DAX function in this case. I never used that function before, so we're going to try using this in this particular example. So let's get to Power BI. Here it is. I already have the conversion rate measure here, which is pretty straightforward. But before we look into that, so there are two a good model. We have opportunities as in a table, and we have a sales table, which are fact tables, and then we have employees, which are connected to the both these tables and the dates. In this particular scenario, we are only relevant to basically employees and the conversion rate, which is part coming from opportunities and sales. Let me show you. The conversion rate measure is basically sum of sales divided by sum of opportunities, basically how many, whatever the business logic is. So this gives us the conversion rate per employee. Now the first part of this is we need to get the first top 25% and the next 25% and next 25% and then the fourth 25%, right? So that's what is this going to make 100%. So distributed 100% into 4 quarters basically. So we're going to leverage the function called percentile. Let me actually quickly write the measure here. I'm going to call it percentile, maybe demo. So what we're going to the percentile measure, there are 2 measures. I'm not sure why I'm saying measures. There are 2 functions, actually multiple functions on this one. So we're going to use the percentile X inclusive. You guys can read the details about inclusive and exclusive, what that is. I'm not going to explain it here, but what I'm going to show you guys is how to get the percentile value using the inclusive. So we're going to go all selected employees name. And the reason why we're doing guys selected, because we want to look the percentile across all the employees, right? If I don't give all the selected employees name, it's gonna not calculate correctly. And because we want to see whatever the employees are selected, get all the employees, and then the next let's see, the next one is first is table, and then there is an expression, right? So expression for which we want to calculate this percentile, that is a conversion rate, and then the K is like between 0 to 1, the percentage, right? So this is 0.25. That will give us the top 25%. So if we do this, let's see what value we get. I'm gonna put it here, and percentage, change it to percentage. So that is what turned out to be top. This should be the bottom 25. This for top we need to get the 75%. It's other way around basically. Yeah, so this is giving us for the top 25% what is the conversion rate for those ones are. So basically that includes, so these four, the top 5 are basically, I'm not sure why I'm saying 4, top 5 is part of now this particular quartile, which is turned out to be 77.84, right? So that's the top 25%. So what we're going to do is we're going to store this into a variable that is top. So that's my first, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go I think let's do the first group, then the second group, right? That is next 25%, and the third one we're gonna call it, I will show you how I'm gonna use it, 25%. So let's try to see what these values it returns. If we go first group, we know 77.84, right? So now I can say anything of this percentile, which is top 25%, anything above that, the conversion rate, anything above that would be rank 1, right? So that's what I can calculate now. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we have the percentage of all those different groups. We're going to compare it with the conversion rate and rank these out. So let me show you guys how we're going to do that. So we're going to go to var, let's store the conversion rate in a variable because we're going to use it multiple times. Conversion rate is equal to conversion rate. And let's create another variable called return result maybe. So what we're going to do is in here we're going to check the values, and the value, I'm going to a little bit make it smaller. So what we're going to say is if my third group is greater than, conversion rate, then this is 4, and I will show you guys what does that means. Let's actually pause it here for a second. So I am just to make sure that I explain it better. So if you look at here right now, we are returning the values of third group, right? Let's I like to show it. So let's change it a bit so that it's easy to read. All right, I just reformatted so that we can see the measure and the value here at the same time. So basically, right now I'm returning the third group, right? So what I'm saying here is in this switch statement, if third group is greater than the conversion rate, then return the value 4. It means anything above will be returned as a 4, and if you can see third group greater than conversion rate, so that would be these ones, right, up to 66.4. so these all will be marked as ranked as 4, and the similar check I will do for the others as well. So let's do that. We're going to go second group is greater than conversion rate, then this is in the ranked as third. If first group is greater than conversion rate, marked as second, anything above that is ranked as 1. So let's return this as a rank. So okay, because it's been shown as in a percentage, so that's why. Okay, here you go. So what we have here is we have these 5 employees, which are the top 25% ranked as 1, next 25% ranked as second, and the further next 25% rank, third and fourth, right? So this is what does this we able to achieve. Basically, we calculated the percentile value based on the conversion rate, and then we checked which block that falls in, and then we rank them manually, right? Because it's a quarter, there is always going to be 4 values maximum, right? It's because the requirement is to divide everything in quarters, so it's 75%, 50%, 25%, and remaining 25%, right? So that's what it turns out to be. So this is the 4th quarter, this is the 3rd quarter, this is the 2nd quarter, and this is the 1st quarter. So now we got this. Now from here onward, it's pretty straightforward comparatively, because now we know the rank, and the next question is based on this ranking, we want the average of the conversion rate. And to make it work, I already created a disconnected tables called Quartile. Again, in this particular case, we have to use the disconnected table because we want to show the 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's no other ways to do that. And the quartile table is, if you look at that, is simply 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I'm gonna bring that in here, and now we're gonna calculate the quartile average. So I'm gonna call it quartile average. So what that average is going to look like. So first we need to get the conversion rate and the percentile, this rank for each employee. What we're going to do is we're going to compare what in each row, what quartile we are looking into, and then compare this with this percentile demo. It means those values need to be grouped together, right? So let's say first we're going to go selected quartile is selected value from our disconnected table. So this is currently being selected, and then we're going to create another measure. We're going to let's create a quartile table. So we're going to say summarize our employee table by employee name, and we're gonna add 2 measures to this, add columns. There's a lot of videos on this one, so basically, and actually instead I don't need to do the summarize employee. I can usually use employees because that's a dimension table. I can say employees and add column onto that, which would be my measure. The first one is going to be, I'm gonna call it percentile rank, which is our percentile demo measure. I should have named it that, and then the conversion rate, which is again a conversion rate measure. So what does this means is it on the employee table it added these 2 values on top of that, right? And now it is very straightforward. For here we can calculate average on this table, quartile table, but this quartile table right now giving us all the employees, right? But we just want it to be filtered out for the specific quartile we are looking at. If we are at the row, if we look into quartile 1, we want it to filter for quartile 1, right? So then we're going to do is filter our quartile table where percentile rank is equal to selected quartile, and then we want the average on the conversion rate. So that should, there is already a measure. Okay, probably average demo. Okay. Oh, sorry. So first of all, I think a spelling mistake. Quartile table, and they should be percentile rank is equal to selected quartile, not the quartile table. Okay. All right. So now if you bring that measure here and change it to percentage, and should put it as in a percentage. Here you go. So we get that. So what does this means is on for the first 5 employees, or where the ranked as 1. So based on this, their conversion, the average of their conversion rate is 82.72, and so forth, so on. So just clarify what we did here is we said, okay, what quartile we are looking at. Again, that's a disconnected table on the visual here. So we're looking at the quartile 1 right now. We selected that value, and then we on the employee table we added those 2 measures, right? Percentile, demo, and conversion rate. And then based on what quartile we are looking at, we are filtering that quartile, and then average X is iterating over this table and giving us the average of the conversion rate. So everything is working fine here. So far so good. Everything worked fine and everything looks good. But one thing I really want to bring to your attention here, which is very, very important when you're working with DAX. In this particular example, everything is working, but I can tell you guys where it will fall apart in one single case. So going back to the percentile demo rank, as I said, I did is all selected employees, employee name. In this particular case, it worked perfectly fine because we have a one single column in an employee table. And if I go and I'm going to change, add another column into my employee table, and I actually manually removed it. So let's say there is a column called employee ID. There are more columns, for example, more than one. And if I do this, all of a sudden my rank is correct, but this thing stopped working. Now the question comes, why, if the rank is correct, why this thing stopped working all of a sudden? And the reason behind that is, if you want to give it a thought or share your comments, but I'm going to tell what happened here is what we're seeing is all selected employee name, because I have given a one specific column name, right? So in this context, we have the employee name shown here on the table, but in this disconnected table where we are calculating quartile percentage by quartile, the average of those percentages, in this case where we are calculating the average for each quartile, the employee name is not in the context, right? So that's why this is not working. And since we are using in quartile average demo, we are saying employees table. Now employee table has multiple columns, not the name column only, and that's why it is not working. So this becomes really, really surprising sometime to debug. This is where you really need to understand DAX, because it's ranking correctly but not working correctly here. So what is the fix? And somebody would try to fix it, they will start looking at this particular measure because they think this is the issue, because everything is working fine here but not here. But the problem is actually not here. Problem is in the percentile demo measure. What we need to do is we need to say all selected employees in this case without any column name. So let's do that, and here you go. As soon as I did that, it fixed. Again, I don't want to go into all selected column name and employee, but I just told you guys you have to be very, very careful depending on how you're looking at the information. If the goal was just to look at this way, just rank those, perfectly fine. But not, since we want it to be, there's no context of the employee ID or the name. In this particular case, it stopped working. If it was a single column, that was perfectly fine, because all selected employees name is only one column, right? And when you have more columns, it did not work. I think there are a lot of articles about all selected and all functions, I think. I don't think we need to explain everything here, but here is an idea how you can break things into small pieces to solve the problem, right? It seems pretty complex. I never did this in the past. I never used this function. I never used the rank and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure there is other ways to do that as well. You can use the rank functions and do it from there as well, but I wanted to use that, take advantage of percentile and group employees in the different quartiles and then calculate the average. All right, again, something interesting, a unique use case, great post, and I think I enjoyed solving this. Let me know what you guys think about it. Again, make sure to subscribe my channel for more videos, upcoming videos on DAX, Fabric, Power Query, all fun stuff. Until next video, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.